Which trap is better, Cloverleaf or a Z-trap? All right, 90% of the time when I hear somebody say, hey, I get this question a lot, it just raises a red flag. Typically, when somebody says that, they don't get that question that many times. And a lot of people start videos like, hey, I get this question a lot. In this case, I'm being honest, man. I get this question a lot, and I'm making the video just so I can send this information out instead of having to reply by email every single time. So the question is, which trap is better, a Cloverleaf trap or a Z-trap? And so, and the all honest answer is, really, it depends. Like, it depends on what you're doing with it. It depends on how you're using it. It depends on what you're wanting to catch. And it just really varies. And so I'm a firm believer, there's just really very few, I can't think of any perfect fishing products, right? They're just not, right? And so maybe perfect fishing baits, I don't know. It's hard to find something that's absolutely perfect in all scenarios, and that's what I'm trying to apply here. So these traps are different, and really they do catch the same species of fish, but in my opinion, they have different uses for different times. Let me explain though. So this is my Z-trap, right? You guys may have seen these online. They're pretty popular now, and it looks like a Z. And so it has 2 entry points, 4 total, 2 on each side. And you can notice in this trap, there's no area for bait boxes, right? And so I'm going to set this aside. I'll talk about it in a second. This is the Cloverleaf trap. And now this one obviously is made out of the PVC black vinyl coated clover. We make them out of this stuff right here as well. I just had this one laying around as an example. We're about to ship it out to a customer, so I wanted to use it as an example. But this is your Cloverleaf trap. It has a large bait box in the middle. It's got 4 entry points, 1 on each side of the trap. And so this has 4 entry points, but it has 2 on each side. This has 4, it has 1 on each side, right? And so they're approximately the same size, approximately 2 foot by 2 foot by 1 foot. They're a little bit less than that, so they'll fit in the box okay. So back to the question, which one is best? Well, they both work great. There's no debating. Like, Cloverleaf traps been around, like my grandfather's grandfather used one, right? They've been around a long time. The Z-traps are newer here, like I'd say the last 3, 4, 5 years, but they both work great. Here's my personal opinion on when I would use a Z-trap versus when I would use a Cloverleaf trap. So to get started, Z-trap, and I'm gonna try to link the video here. I'll put it, if I can put the card on the YouTube screen, I'll put it up there. If not, I'll link it in the description below. But the Z-trap is going to work perfect in a scenario where you know you have a lot of bait fish and you want to catch them very quick. In my opinion, the Z-trap catches very fast. It catches better. In certain situations, it catches better than the Cloverleaf. And it's typically like, if you know those fish are in the area, you can throw this trap in the water. As you'll see in that video, you can throw this trap in the water and you don't have to bait it at all, and you'll catch fish in it. Bait fish are just naturally curious, and because of these long funnels, you'll catch them. You can bait it if you want to. You can, there's 1,000 ways you can bait it. You could tie off, you could get some pantyhose or a sock, and you could tie off some dog food in the bottoms of it if you wanted to. You could take a piece of styrofoam and you basically attach it to the bottom. That way it floats up, and then the fish will be attracted to that. But in my opinion, again, you don't need bait. Just throw it in the water if you know there's fish in the area, and you will catch bait fish in it. So if you want to catch fish very quickly and you know they're there, I would go with Z-trap. Now, if you're fishing in a lake somewhere, a public lake, or an area where you don't trap very often and you're trying to find the bait fish, then I would go with something like a Cloverleaf trap. And the sheer reason for that would be because it's easier to bait and it's easier to hold the bait in the trap. So there is a bait compartment in the middle. You can put your bait in there and it will hold it secure in place. It may dissolve and drift out, but it's in the center of the trap, and that allows you to basically kind of pull bait fish in from maybe farther distance. But again, big picture, to answer your question, they're both great traps. I would go with the Z-trap if you're fishing in an area like a private pond. If you're fishing in an area of a lake where you know there's a ton of bait fish, you're going to catch them very fast in a Z-trap. If you're fishing in an area where you have to kind of search for the fish, or you're actually fishing for the bait fish, I would go with a Cloverleaf trap. And that's my personal opinion. I know there's, everybody will want to do something a little different, but that's what I would do. Now, the other question I get is, do you need the PVC coating? Like, this is a well-known, documented fact. PVC coated wire just simply doesn't catch as quickly as, or as good as, the galvanized. So the shinier the wire, it just draws fish in better. However, if you're using a trap in salt water, you absolutely have to go PVC coated, because the galvanized metal is not going to last. And if you're wanting a trap that's going to last you 10, 15 years, you have to go PVC coated. So there's really, you're going to catch a lot of fish in this, don't get me wrong. You're just not going to catch them as good as you would a galvanized trap. But a galvanized trap is going to break down on you a little bit faster than the PVC coated. So this is, probably the highest quality wire you can get as far as making traps. The PVC stuff is. It's kind of like a perfect, it's 16 gauge, 1/2 inch by 1 inch. kind of like a perfect middle ground. If I went any heavier, the trap would be like 12 pounds, 15 pounds. This is about 7 pounds. If I go with this wire, you know, the trap is a lot lighter, about 3 to 5 pounds. However, this wire is not going to last as long. And so there's really, again, I'm going back to what I said earlier, there's no perfect trap for every scenario. You know, might as well get you 2 of them, one of this, one of this. I'm kidding, of course. But, you know, big picture is, you know, if you want the trap to last you forever, you got to go PVC coated. These are, you know, aluminum. We use aluminum and stainless steel rings. And if you want a trap that you're just going to use a few years, you're going to catch a bunch of fish, and you want to catch it fast, go galvanized. I personally use galvanized traps, but I build them and can rebuild them easily if one breaks or one gets stolen. So that's my opinion on this. I hope you guys enjoyed the content. I hope you like this kind of information. If you do, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. If you have more questions, be sure to drop a comment below. I will be sure to answer those. All right, thank you guys for watching. God bless. Have a great day.